Welcome to BCIS 5304. My name is Dr. Schuessler, and I will be your professor this year, or this semester, I should say. I usually like to start off the semester talking a little bit about the Blackboard shell, kind of show you guys around. Every professor is a little bit different, and so I want to kind of show you how things are laid out in our course. And then I'll be creating a second video in which we'll talk about the syllabus and stuff like that. So once the home page is done, our Blackboard shell, it'll look something along the lines like this. Let me go ahead and switch over to student preview mode, so this will be a little bit closer to what you probably see right now. So at the top here, you'll see that it's under construction. Below that will be the two videos, one over the Blackboard shell, the other one over the syllabus. Below that, we've got a tweets window. You don't have to have Twitter. You can follow along by logging into Blackboard. If you have Twitter, you can certainly follow me and catch up on my tweets that way. I usually like to tweet things that are funny but are somehow IT related or education related. They may be security related or technology, higher ed, all those kinds of things. But it's completely optional to you. Here at the bottom of our home page, we have the technical assistance and acceptable use policy information, as well as help desk information right here. So they've got some pretty good ways of getting a hold of them via email. You can call them. They can take care of most problems either verbally over the phone, or they can remote into your machine. You can see what they do, and they can usually take care of most problems within just a few minutes. Below that, we have Netiquette. If you are new to the online environment, the online coursework, all that kind of stuff, certainly take a look there. We don't need any flaming going on, any of those kinds of things. So be respectful, be polite, act like you're talking to somebody across the table from you. And then finally, the computer use policy. Keep in mind, even though you're using your system on at home or at work, you're logging into the university's Blackboard system. So as a result, treat it like you're logging into a public system. The navigation structure is over here on the left. So if you want to get back to this page, simply click on Home, and that will bring you back right here. Below that, we've got the syllabus and the schedule. These are both Google documents, which just open up into their own tabs. We'll talk about those more in that other video. Lessons and lectures. The first couple really are just more for informational purposes. The first one's over APA formatting. If you're unfamiliar with it, certainly take a look at that. I'm not a big APA, I'm not fanatical about it, but when in doubt, you should follow APA. It's something as a college we've all agreed to use the same styling, same style, and so as a result, APA has been that kind of consensus choice. So when in doubt, follow APA. You will have to include some sites in your network project this semester. So as a result, be sure and follow APA formatting. The second one, Appendix 2 here, DreamSpark, you have access to a lot of free software, free Microsoft software by being enrolled in this course. Take advantage of that. That software is delivered through DreamSpark, and you've got a lot of different choices out there. Not everything that Microsoft offers, but a lot of it. Windows Server, for example, is available, and a lot of other programs that Microsoft has. So take advantage of that. Below that, I have video lectures. Back when our program was a face-to-face program, I would videotape the lectures and put them online, and make that available to students. And so they're still out there. They're available to you. Keep in mind they are longer in format. They're more of a traditional lecture format. Some students like that, some students don't. They also are for a previous edition of the text, so they don't mesh up perfectly with the current edition, though it is the same authors and all that kind of stuff. And lastly, the audio quality isn't perfect on these. There are some spots where it's kind of hard to hear as I'm walking around the room and things like that. So keep those things in mind, but I put them up there just in case somebody might be interested. Most students are interested in this next section, the deliverables. We've got 5 different things that we're going to be working on. We've got assessments, homework, discussion boards, network proposal, and exams. The discussion board and network proposal are very closely tied to one another, so we'll talk about those a little bit more here in just a little bit. Under assessments, We've got a few that are a little oddball, and then all the rest after that are pretty much the same, but we'll get to that here in just a second. Initially, we have our pretest. This is just an opportunity for me to figure out where your incoming level of understanding is with respect to networking. You'll take a post-test at the end of the semester, and that allows me to make a comparison of where you started and how far did you come. At the end of each of those tests, there's a survey. For the pretest, it's a link to a survey, which is anonymous, that determines your learning style and your personality. For the post-test, it's a link to an assessment, an online course assessment. I use that to improve my course offerings that I do. It's separate from the university's course assessment, so please fill that out as well. But like I said, I use that to improve my courses that I do. What else about pretest? Oh, I also want you to know that it's worth 5 points. You simply have to complete it. So don't stress about how well you do or how poorly you do. Simply take it, you'll get your points, and go from there. Some students have had a hard time figuring out how to keep track of their grades and all that kind of stuff. A student a couple of years ago posted this video, and so I share that with you there. And then the last oddball one we have is the syllabus quiz. This is not meant to trick you or anything like that. Print out the syllabus, have it open in a second monitor, read through it ahead of time, and then take the quiz. Everybody should do well on it. It's really just meant to make sure that you've actually read the syllabus and that you understand it. So read through the syllabus. If you have any questions, ask the questions, then go take the quiz. After that, all the quizzes are already posted, so you can actually work ahead, and I encourage you to work ahead a little bit. I do not reset quiz scores, so if you have a technical issue and a quiz crashes on you, keep in mind I don't reset them. At the same time, if you have a job interview or you forget and you miss a quiz, I don't reset them. And the reasons I don't reset them are, number one, they're all already posted, so you can, like I said, you can work ahead a little bit. Also, I drop your 2 lowest quiz scores, so keep that in mind as well. Those are the reasons that I don't reset your quiz scores. Something else I want you to keep in mind, the 2 last things are that they're timed at 5 minutes. Students traditionally absolutely hate that aspect of the quizzes, but it's not an exercise in looking up answers. Rather, it's an exercise in knowing the stuff cold. And the idea is that, you know, I want you to stay current. And that's the idea behind these quizzes, is just to make sure you're staying current. So read the chapters, review the PowerPoints, ask questions, and then go take the quizzes. The last point I want to make about the quizzes is that they are password protected using the password TEST, T-E-S-T, all lowercase. And it's just basically to prevent you from accidentally starting a quiz before you're ready. So it's kind of a fail-safe mechanism. Homework is similar to assessments in that there's an oddball one to kind of start it off. And HW0 here is basically kind of setting up the course at the very beginning. So I want you to, if you've got a Google account, great. If you don't, I need you to create one, even if it's just for this semester, and create a folder and share that folder with me. And I give you the directions, the stuff that I want you to do with that. I want you to name that folder accordingly. I want you to give me edit rights to that folder so I can leave comments on the documents that are in that folder, things like that. I want you to also complete this form right here. You'll click on that and it'll come up and you can go through that. Be sure and copy the link to that folder because you're going to need it both in this form as well as when you go to submit the homework. Now, how do you one of the things down here is it talks about submitting a clickable link set to open into a new window. How do you do that? Watch this short little video here. It'll show you exactly how to do it. I kind of give you a run through here, but if you want to see it happen, watch that video right there. Now, how do you submit that link? You come over here and you click on the homework assignment itself, and it will come open, and you'll see that there's a rubric associated with it. We'll look at that here in just a second. As far as creating the link, you'll click on Write Submission. You type in this case, say HW1, highlight it, and again, you can watch that video, and it kind of walks you through the rest of that process. Sorry. Okay. Now, the rubric, for assignments that have rubrics associated with them, open up the rubric and take a look. This is how you're going to be scored. So take a look at that, see exactly what it is that I'm looking for. So for example, on this one, I want you to have shared a Google Drive folder with me. I want you to have named it right. I want you to make sure that I have the edit rights to it, but that you still have ownership. I don't want it taking up my space. This is your stuff. It needs to be owned by you. I want that information sheet submitted, and I want submitted clickable links to that folder, and I want it to be submitted, or I want it set to be open in a new window. So look at those rubrics. I give them to you for a reason so that you can see what's expected. So that's HW0. Like I said, that's the oddball one. Other than that, we'll come back to that in just a second. HW1, HW2, etc. They're all already posted. So all your homework is open at the very beginning of the semester. The homework is done in test out. So I've given you links to the test out environment there. You can click on that and it brings it up. This is an external website. They provide a variety of different courses. We're going to be using one for networking specifically. And they provide various lectures, demonstrations. They have objective-based questions as well as task-based questions, which is what I really like. I want you to note that they're not necessarily in order. HW1 is test out 1, but HW2 is test out 8. And you'll get a better feel for that as you jump into it. Now, how do you register with test out? That's what this section is back up here. So I basically walk you through the whole thing. I give you a little video on how to register and get set up and all that kind of stuff. The important information that you're going to need is right there. So specifically the promotion code saves you a lot of money. It's about a $495 program. This is going to knock it down to about $89. So that's a big deal there. So the actual course we're signing up for is the Test Out Network Pro. Class name, this is what you're signing up for, associating your subscription with the university, and my name there. So it's good for 18 months. So even after the course is done, if you want to go back and work on it, you can certainly do so. It's pretty good prep material for the Network Plus certification. So it's one of the reasons we like it. Now, as I mentioned, the discussion board and network proposal are pretty closely tied together. The discussion board starts out here, and at the top you've got introductions. I've already posted one of mine. There are Ask the Professor and your peers. I usually try to let those questions go for a few days to try to get you guys involved and get you guys answering them. But eventually I'll step in and answer those questions. If you have a general question that you think everybody might be interested in, by all means post it there. If it's grade related, do not post it there. We'll talk about that more here in just a little bit. The very first discussion board, actual one for a grade, is here. So the DB1 over the logical diagrams. First off, I tell you a little bit about what I'm expecting, what represents a good logical diagram. I give you some links to hopefully some helpful sites, and then I tell you exactly how I want them submitted. So this logical diagram is a group project. It's part of the network proposal. It's your network proposal for the semester that you're going to be working on. The idea is that you're going to post it early, in this case the Sunday before it's due. You're going to post it early here as a group so that everybody else can see what you've done. They get to see what you've done. They get to make comments. In fact, they need to make comments by the first Wednesday. You need to make comments about other groups' work before Wednesday. After Wednesday, but before the due date on the following Sunday, you need to, again, make another comment. Either respond to somebody's comment or ask, talk about somebody else's work. These comments need to be meaningful comments. They can't be, hey, that's a nice job, it looks really good. That won't count. It needs to be something meaningful and substantive that will help them improve what they're doing. As far as the discussion boards themselves, click on that. It comes over here, and right now none of them are created. So you'll create a thread and you can post your information in there. As far as all the posting, all you really need to do is, at least for the initial posting, make it a link to that Google Doc. This is a growing project, so it's going to be a link to the same project every time you do it. So DB1 is going to be just your logical diagram and your cover page and stuff like that. By DB2, it should be that cover page and a little bit more flushed out. Your DB1 should be looking a little bit, or your logical diagram should be looking a little bit better, but it should also now include the physical diagram, which is for DB2. Now, how is the logical diagram going to be, or this discussion board posting going to be evaluated? Click on grading information there, and right over here, view the rubric. So now I tell you what I'm looking for. So that it's initially posted on or before the Sunday in which the DB originally opens, on or before Wednesday is your first regular post, and then on or after Thursday. So again, look at those grading rubrics when they're available. The rest of the discussion board topics are all posted as well. Certainly feel free to work ahead. DB2 is the physical diagram. DB3 wireless. It's a little bit different. Some of the stuff here is a little bit different. We're using another site called Arrowhive, which you can register for. It's free. Security, finance, and finally network management. So those are the discussion boards, and these are, like I said, all things that need to be included in your network proposal, which is here. So the idea is that we're all helping each other out to improve our network proposals. So here I'm kind of giving you some background on the network proposal, what I'm looking for, things like that. I expect it to be run like a project. So use Microsoft Project, use Gantt, or either one's fine. After the first week, I will create groups, and you'll see those group assignments right in here. After the groups are created, there's actually another section that will open up right here, which gives you the case that we're going to be working on. The case comes directly from comprehensive exams from last semester. So it's, I really want you to pay attention. As opposed to comprehensive exams where it's just individual work, this is your opportunity as a group to work and solve this problem. But the idea is to prepare you for the scope of a problem that you as an individual are going to see on the comprehensive exam. So pay attention to that. And again, after these groups are created, you'll see that next, the actual case itself. Once you're done, you will submit it to that section, the link to your Google Doc. You'll download that as a Word document and submit it here as the originality report. This basically makes sure that you're citing everything appropriately. So you should have the opportunity to submit it, take a look at the feedback, and if it says there's a lot of stuff that's coming from other sources, make sure that it's quoted, make sure that it's properly cited, etc., before you make your final submission. And then finally, there is the peer evaluation. The peer evaluation is, again, another Google form. You'll go in, fill that out. You'll fill that out once for yourself, once for each of your classmates that is in your group, and go from there. Let's see, so that is the network proposal exams. The exams are not currently posted. They will open during the exam windows, so the midterm exam will open during that window. It's open for that week. The final exam, and it's here in Blackboard, the final exam is actually in Test Out. It's the certification exam for Network Pro. So you have the opportunity to not only earn your grade on the final exam, but also to earn that certification if you pass it. So it's kind of an extra little bonus, if you will. The next section is over communications, announcements. I send out an announcement once a week, really just to kind of give you a heads up of what's going on in class, what am I seeing, what we're doing, kind of as a reminder, keep us all on the same page kind of thing. Then we have course messages. If you have anything that's course related, I want you to send it to me as a course message. If it's outside of course, by all means, you can send it to me via regular email, but if it's about the course, if it's something inside this course, I want it to come to me within Blackboard here. So don't send me a regular email asking me about stuff about class. It needs to be inside of here. Virtual office hours, I hold via Google Hangouts, so you can use that. It's a link to a static Hangout, so you can discuss things with me and stuff like that. And then next, my grades. So it's a good place to keep track of your grades. I think I've got everything set up in there to kind of make things easier. They're all laid out. You can see the things that have rubrics associated with them if you want to take a look at those. And then finally, supplemental material. So a lot of students like to use slides as kind of a study guide, things like that. I've just given you a link to a Google folder that has all of those slides in them. So that'll come up there and you'll be able to see all those slides here in just a second. And there you go. And then we have social media. I have a lot of, I'm on several different social media sites. I've got my own website. Let's see if that comes up there. There you go. And that's going directly to content I have up there for this course. Not that there's a lot of great stuff there, but it's there. Google Plus Learning Community. I don't do a lot there, but I do have it. I am fairly active on YouTube, fairly active on Twitter, somewhat active on LinkedIn, and then a list of recommended books that I've put up on Amazon if you're interested, mostly related to the history of computing and to hacking. Funny videos, I like to keep things light, things that are related to information systems and related to higher ed, if you will, the impotence of proofreading, for example. So certainly have fun there. If you run across something that you're interested in that you think is relevant and appropriate, by all means send me a link and I'll see about getting it posted. Lastly, the learning style and personality survey that you take at the beginning of the semester as part of that pretest is there, so you can kind of get a look for what the class is like, the makeup of the class. So I kind of give you some definitions here, and it finally loads, and we end up with most people in the class are observational. That's great. So test out. We use a lot of it has a lot of demonstrations, for example. So that'll be great for the majority or the bulk of the class, the largest group of the class. As far as personality, we are pretty close. Conscientiousness and agreeableness. So that's good. We're not all that neurotic, so probably a good thing. And lastly, if you want to see course evaluations for how students in the past have looked at the course and kind of viewed it and their opinions about it, you can click on that link there and it will take a second to load. It's loading from a Google Sheet, but there you go. You can kind of see some of the responses. And this is purely for your own information. It's just out there, and some text responses as well. So certainly feel free to take a look at that if you're interested. So that is all I've got for you today. It's kind of a brief introduction of our Blackboard shell. If you have any questions, send me a message. Follow me on Twitter @H.Schuessler PhD. Until next time, take care.